All right, so the first thing we got going on, I know I'm kind of mixed up. I'm just kind of flustered with this sound stuff right away. But I'd like to get started as soon as I can. All right, so who would have thought this slash sarcasm from Leo Rain, leftist nutjob who made his career accusing Republicans of being just got arrested on pedo charges. This was 6 hours ago. Leftist activist Houston Wade, who has spent years calling Republicans and Trump supporters pedophiles, was arrested in Washington after allegedly trying to meet an 11-year-old child for sexual activity. Allegedly. Allegedly. So we don't know for fact, but hey, that's if he did that, he's got it coming. It's called karma. All right, so the next one by John Punch here. Okay, this attempted assassination, or who ordered the assassination? This is the real story cover-up. Okay, I clicked on this so I could read it better earlier. 5 days before Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were murdered by Vance Bolter, she had voted to remove illegal aliens from Minnesota's welfare system, thus ending the fraudulent arm pumping millions into the corrupt theft ring, primarily benefiting Somalians. So, I wonder why she was murdered. Yeah. So it's heartbreaking. And it's total corruption and it's total evilness. There's demons out there. I know I'm sick of it. Let's see. Stealing taxpayer dollars is never okay. Are we sick of this shit? Yeah. I don't know. I'm sick of it. I wish it never would have happened. I wonder how she got 30 million in debt, or $30 million. Lock her up, Tim. Lock her and Tim up. Yep. Elon is now worth 30 million and she is linked to the largest Somalian fraud and money laundering ring in her state. I think Congress is actually on top of this big time. I hope she gets kicked out of Congress and deported. Frauds. Yep, no doubt. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. This might be needed to get back the rule of law. The real Grok Maga says, it's time to stop this madness. Today, not next week or next month, but today. The Insurrection Act of 1807. It's time. This is what she thinks, and I'm tending to agree with her. I'm thinking these people are just lunatics, and they're not going to stop. They are going to wear us down. They're getting paid. They don't work in the days. They just go out and protest. They get paid by these NGOs or Soros or somebody. I'm not sure. But they can go out there all day long, get bailed out of jail for free, and harass all the law enforcement, ICE. They just I don't see an end to it. I see it all over the country, and I do think the Insurrection Act would be a good thing to get back to the rule of law. Lock these people up, give them military tribunals. Why not? The sooner the better before we devolve further as a country. All right, she needs to go. A sitting member of Congress who is guilty of immigration fraud is leading the insurrection. We are going to make sure these people pay for what they have done to us. Elon. Oh, let's listen to this.
We are going to show all of them the door out.
I think she's talking about ICE.
And we are going to make sure that these people pay for what they have done to us.
Oops. So I'm wondering how she thinks she's going to make us pay. What is she going to do? What plans does she have? Is she inciting violence? Is she committing sedition right now? What is she saying? What is she saying? Listen to it.
I am going to leave you with this. I love this community. This community raised me as an immigrant. This community also sent me to Washington, D.C. as a refugee to represent you. I carry that proudly. I am not somebody people describe about the challenges you all are experiencing. I'm someone who has lived it. And what I'll tell you is this. What we are going through today is going to create a different kind of community for us. We are going to forge a different path forward. We are going to use every single lesson we are learning today to make sure no community gets terrorized like we are being terrorized.
She says terrorized. The only people that are afraid are the illegal immigrants that are here illegally. ICE is border patrol, and they are picking up the illegals and taking them away. You are getting in the way of their legal duty to arrest these illegal people. You are going against the government which you work for, and you work for us. And by doing that, I think you are committing some kind of crime, some kind of violation, some kind of statute. We're going to figure this out, and I hope you're gone soon.
By Trump and his goonies ever again. We are committed to this resistance. We are committed in building a community. We are committed in confronting our nation as a country of immigrants and making sure that dream stays alive.
Oh, I did it again. I did it again. The browser screen.
Here. I love you all. We all love you. Everybody said people are not going to be out in the streets in Minnesota because it is too cold. Yes, it is too cold, but our hearts are warm enough.
Yeah, your heart is not warm. Your heart is evil. And you need to go. You are defying our government. You are breaking our laws. And in my opinion, you are committing sedition. Yeah, that's enough of that one. There's lots of love out there for our law enforcement. You don't hear it on the media or the news, but you will see it here in X. X is probably the #1 news source in the world. You can get your information here. Don't get it on the mainstream media. They will not tell you the truth. I don't care which one it is. Even if it's Fox, I wouldn't even go there. I would go here, get it directly. Get it sourced from the ground, from grassroots patriots who are doing due diligence to get the truth out there. And this is a picture of that. These people all support our law enforcement. And there's a lot of them. So, dear law enforcement, whether you're a police officer, ICE agent, or the National Guard, you can't hear us right now because of the noise. But rest assured that there are millions of Americans who appreciate and support and thank you for your service. 100%. 100%. Don't get down, ICE. You're doing your job. There's a million people that love you and support you. I know you got it hard, and you are doing God's work. You really are. Don't let them fool you. There's demons out there trying to stop you, and all the yelling and the whistling and harassment. That is not peaceful protesting, and you are going above and beyond what is called in ordinary circumstances. So I'm praying for you. I pray for you, ICE. I really do. And I did a morning prayer. Yeah, I did this. I posted it on Facebook and a couple of different places, but here's me reading a prayer. We'll listen to this. Good morning, America. How are ya? I hope you don't mind my singing. I'm going to try and do that every morning. Just a little insert there. Morning, folks. This morning I'm bringing you a prayer that's inspired by Zephaniah 3:17. Heavenly Father, mighty warrior who saves, I come before you this day in quiet wonder. Thank you for being right here with me, closer than my next breath. Thank you for taking great delight in me, not because of what I do, but because I am yours. In your deep love, you have chosen to quiet every rebuke and instead rejoice over me with singing. Let me hear your joyful song today. Let it drown out my fears, my shame, and every voice that says I'm not enough. Help me rest in the beautiful truth that you are singing over me right now. May my heart echo in your delight and live this day wrapped in your gladness. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Bless you, everyone. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Yeah, that's me. I'm going to try and write a prayer every morning before I go live. And we'll do this. I'm going to try and do this 5 days a week at least, possibly 7. I'm really passionate about politics. I'm passionate about religion. I'm passionate about my country. I'm passionate about justice. Yeah, justice. We need it. Baby Trump is absolutely brilliant. No, I don't know if I listen to this. I hope there's not any music that's going to get me whacked on YouTube or anything. If it is, I'm going to have to pause it. Baby Trump.
Minnesota, beautiful state. Cold as heck. They said, sir, it's -40. I said, still higher than Tim Walz's poll numbers.
Is he wearing boxing gloves? This looks like boxing gloves. Dun 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 dun.
I'm here because billions have vanished, and nobody finds things better than me. Found Hillary's emails, found Atlantis. Very easy, actually. Just had to think, which I do very well. Now I'm finding Minnesota's stolen.
Found Atlantis.
Okay, first of all, Learing, Learing. This is a learning center that doesn't know how to spell learning. And Tim Walz gave them $4 million. $4 million. I wouldn't give him $4 for a dictionary.
No doubt. These are such a fraud, but let's continue.
Hello? Anybody teaching kids in there? Any kids to teach? I see a tumbleweed. There's actually a tumbleweed rolling through the daycare in Minnesota.
Mr. President, welcome to Minnesota. Beautiful day. We've been working tremendously hard on this fraud issue. You betcha.
Working hard, Tim? The only thing you've been working hard on is losing. You lost 49 states. I didn't even know that was...
He's also working hard on covering his ass for all this fraud stuff going on. You know what? I hope he gets what's coming.
...is possible in modern times.
Well, actually, we lost about 30.
Felt like 49. And speaking of losing, you lost $18 billion. How do you lose $18 billion, Tim? I lose my car keys, maybe my reading glasses, not $18 billion?
Now, that's not entirely accurate.
You know what is accurate? Ilhan Omar's brain is as empty as a Somalia daycare center.
Mr. President, we've been conducting audits and implementing new oversight.
Audits? Tim, the building is called Quality Learing Center. They can't spell learning, and you gave them millions to teach children. What's next? A hospital run by people who spell it...
Yeah, baby Trump. Sure gotta love him. All right, Stephen Miller says, in 10 days, justice will be restored fully and absolutely. All right, well, this is 8 hours ago. Real Robert says, here it is. 10 years in the making, fully and absolutely. The United States Press Secretary, Caroline Claire Levitt, at Press Secretary, now nearly 10 years later, thanks to the declassification of documents by the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, the truth has finally come to light. Barack Hussein Obama attempted to overthrow the United States government in 2016. The sitting president in 2017 overthrew it in 2020. And now, 12 days, justice will be restored.
Another matter, over the past few days, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has unveiled shocking new evidence that former President Barack Obama and top aides in the Obama administration
and she mentioned him by name, Barack Obama. So I am not saying this just for shits and giggles. He is named.
Conspired to subvert President Trump's 2016 election victory and undermine the democratic will of the American people. While publicly pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, in private, former President Obama went to great and nefarious lengths to try to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. The new evidence released by the Director of National Intelligence, who is here with me today, confirms that the Obama administration manufactured politicized.
You know, Tulsi Gabbard's a godsend too. Who would have thought a couple years ago when she was a Democrat, running for the Democrat nomination for president, that she would end up on the staff of Donald Trump? But everybody liked her that I knew of. Everybody liked her and would consider voting for her back in the 2016 election too. She was considered among the Democrats by a lot of people I knew as the solid top choice. And just because she is so honest and she speaks very clearly, and I'm very impressed with her.
Intelligence, which was later used as the justification for baseless smears against President Trump in an effort to try to delegitimize his victory before he even took the oath of office. The truth is that President Trump never had anything to do with Russia, and the Russia collusion hoax was a massive fraud perpetuated on the American people from the very beginning. And the worst part of this is Obama knew that truth, and so did all of the other corrupt officials involved in this scam, including former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, former FBI Director James Comey, former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and many others.
You know, and which congressmen, which senators, you know, who's involved in that was complicit? There's going to be a long list of people here, and I wonder if some of them are still in office today throwing wrenches into the cogs of these works getting done. It's going to be interesting, and I think they're going to be exposing themselves shortly after this information comes out.
Director of National Intelligence Gabbard's report further confirms what we already knew. There was no collusion, no corruption, except on the part of Barack Obama and the weaponized intelligence agencies at the time. The Russia hoax was a blatant lie, all ginned up by Democrat political operatives that were signed off on by then President Obama and leaked to the news media to launch a years-long witch hunt against President Trump and his first administration. Allies of the president, including his own son, Donald Trump Jr., were disgustingly smeared as Russian assets, and some even had their lives destroyed because of this vicious lie. The president's first 2 years in office had this fake distraction hanging over it, and endless resources, time, and political capital were spent having to debunk these lies from the highest levels of our government. Now, nearly 10 years later, thanks to the declassification of documents by Director Gabbard, the truth has finally come to light. And this truth vindicates President Trump, his family, and his many allies and associates who were smeared with defamatory lies. President Trump was right.
This cannot come soon enough. How much has Trump been through? How much has Trump been through over the past 8, 9, 10 years? Even before he got elected the first time, they were on him. All the made-up crimes, all the corrupt judges, the Russia lying hoax. Oh my gosh. Ukraine. So much. It's all got to come out, and people got to be accountable, and I hope heads roll.
From the beginning about all of this, and we are grateful that justice can be served. Now, we have even more damning evidence implicating those who tried to sabotage a duly elected president and did grave material harm to our republic. Thanks to additional important work done by CIA Director Ratcliffe, committee chairman.
What I really want to see is I want to see the corrupt media exposed and tried for their part in this conspiracy to overthrow elected officials. Trump.
Chairman Rick Crawford over the past few months, a newly declassified 2020 report prepared by the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, which DNI Director Gabbard has declassified, found that the intel community did not have any direct information that Russian President Vladimir Putin wanted to help elect President Trump in 2016. And in fact, Russia was actively preparing for a Hillary Clinton victory. But at the unusual direction of Barack Obama at the time, the intel community published implausible intelligence suggesting otherwise. Why? To sabotage the incoming president. This is truly one of the greatest political scandals in American history. And
so is this treason? Is this considered treason when you conspire to interfere with elections, and not only that, overthrow elected officials, especially the President of the United States? You're attempting to overthrow the government. Is that treason? What crime is this?
reporters at legacy outlets, some of which are sitting in this room today, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, were ridiculously awarded Pulitzer Prizes for their perpetuation.
Right. Take them back. Pull them prizes back. If you do not deserve them, they should be shamed and put out of business.
Of this hoax. It's well past time for those awards to be stripped from the journalists who receive them. It is not journalism to propagate political disinformation in service of the Democrat Party and those in the intelligence community who hand over out of context and fake intelligence to push a false political narrative.
All right. She said a whole lot right there. But the main thing is, justice is coming. I pray justice is coming. I pray. Please do not let it just evaporate. Please, Lord, please. So many things are coming and going and disappearing and nothing's getting done. We need wins. Please, Lord. Yeah, right here. Like I said, American people waiting for just one Democrat to be held accountable for literally anything. Right. Yeah, right here. Before my presidency, there was no ISIS. There was no caliphate. There was no Black Lives Matter. There was no Antifa. There was no war on police. I built that. The words of President Barack Obama. Okay, yeah. Vicky Parr, you need to fire all the rogue judges, or, as usual, nothing will come of any of this again. Correct. She ain't having it. This sly silver fox. This lady just says it all about the current situation. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Let me tell you why you don't see Black Americans out here with these protesters. Oh, you may see some Somalians. You may see some.
What did I just do? Oh man, I lost her. Hold on a second. Let me find her back. I hit my space bar and just zipped to somewhere. I don't think. Let's go down here. Heading back. Sorry about that, guys. There it is. Now, this lady's talking about how the black people are upset that all the immigrants invaded. Well, not just the black people, but the brown people too. All these immigrants came in, and when America dumped them, they just dumped them all in the inner cities with the black people and the Mexicans. And they just dumped them in the ghettos. And she's not having it. She's not appreciating this.
Out here with these protesters. Oh, you may see some Somalians, you may see some Jamaicans, some Haitians, etc. First generation, maybe even second generation people out there, but you're not going to see the founding Black Americans who have been here since this country began. We can trace our lineage back. Our mothers were born here, their mothers were born here, and their mothers' mothers were born here, and therefore we are Americans. We are not going to be out there in the street cheering for everybody else to get dropped like bombs in our neighborhoods, because that's what the Democrats did to us.
Right there. She said it. I would be extremely pissed too. They just took over your community.
They took a whole bunch of black and brown looking people and they dropped them in our neighborhoods and thought we wasn't going to notice it. Well, y'all all look the same. That's how racist the Democrats are. They thought we wasn't going to notice Somalians in our neighborhoods. Y'all think we the same?
They think you're stupid. They don't actually care what you think. You are just a cog for them to use to work. You are just a tool for them to get their means while they keep you suppressed and oppressed in the inner cities, living off, not saying this lady, but there's a lot of welfare in these inner cities that gets abused. You know, let's keep listening.
They don't even speak to us. They call us slaves. They disdain us. They don't even want to be around us. But y'all Democrats with y'all's racist behinds thought we wasn't going to notice it. And so now you notice we ain't out there with y'all. Oh, y'all fighting hard to keep y'all's new slaves, ain't y'all Dixiecrats? Yeah, we not y'all slaves no more. And when y'all's new pets are all gone, don't come crawling back. Don't come acting like, oh, we care about the American Negro. You do.
I hope she has the consensus there. I hope she is speaking with a majority of this kind of thought. Because this is what needs to be said and heard and exposed.
Do not. Y'all don't care about us. We got pushed out of our neighborhoods. We got pushed out of jobs. And y'all sat back and cheered for that. Y'all out here fighting in the streets to keep that. To keep us in struggle while y'all's newcomers get, just the red carpet rolled out to them. Because y'all need somebody to pick y'all's cotton.
That's why they brung him in here. That's one of the main reasons. They brought him in here for labor, cheap labor. And that is a product of, I'm not going to say who's advocating for it, but large organizations and yeah. I'm just not going to go down that avenue right now. But yeah, they were here for cheap labor.
We see y'all.
And votes. And votes.
And we will not forget how you played us.
I hope not. I hope you don't forget. All right. Democrats built a shadow network of NGOs designed to undermine and overthrow the United States. Breaking. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem just confirmed Democrats built a shadow network of NGOs designed to undermine and overthrow the United States. That is not politics. That is treason. So it is answered. NAOM warns these groups are using taxpayer money to run shadow government operations, doing things the federal government isn't legally allowed to do while wrecking national security. She says DHS has now stopped grant funding being abused by NGOs that were facilitating illegal immigration and calls it insane that hundreds of millions in federal dollars were funneled into NGOs to help fuel this invasion. And it even gets bigger in the US than the US. And it's even bigger than the US. NOAM says they're also operating outside the country, making it easier for people to break our laws and enter illegally. All right, well, let's listen to Kirsty here.
We are announcing that we have stopped all grant funding that's being abused by NGOs to facilitate illegal immigration into this country. So it's amazing to me the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent by the federal government that has been sent to NGOs to facilitate this invasion of our country. So I've taken action to stop those funds, to reevaluate them, and to make sure that we're actually using the taxpayer dollars in a way that strengthens this country, that keeps us safe. So I think people are curious when we look at grants that are given out by federal agencies at how they're utilized, and that evaluation needs to be done. We're not spending another dime to help.
I hope people are more than curious. I hope they're upset. I hope they're outraged. People need to be outraged at the spending of our taxpayer dollars. Just millions and billions of dollars just... Oh my gosh. And here we are worried about our can't even pay our property taxes. We're living in an upside down, bizarro world. This kind of thing needs to be taken care of, and as fast as we can.
The destruction of this country. We're going to make sure that we follow through on what President Trump has promised, and that's to make sure that we're securing our border, departing those who are here illegally, and committing criminal actions, and that our taxpayer dollars aren't spent to help it.
And, Madam Secretary, I don't think people fully understand the role that NGOs play, many NGOs play, in facilitating illegal immigration. I just want to share these numbers with everybody up on the screen. We spend over $380 million, did in 2024, for shelter.
Federal funds sent to the NGO groups. In 2024, over $380 million to the Shelter and Services Program, millions to religious nonprofits. In 2023, $780 million awarded through SSP to organizations across the country. 2023, $1.9 billion to UNHCR. I'm not sure what that means. I should have researched a little before. Maybe I'd be able to tell you. I will find out later what that is.
And service programs for illegal immigrants. But the vast network of NGOs that help facilitate it through Panama, through Mexico, and make it a landing spot here in the United States is a massive contributor here to illegal immigration. So what you're telling us today is that now stops? At least the federal funding of that stops?
Mm-hmm. Yes, through the Department of Homeland Security, we have stopped spending those dollars to fund those NGOs. And, well, what's been so revealing is that many of these NGOs actually have infrastructure and operations set up in Mexico on that side of the border that are telling those illegal immigrants to come to them, and they will get them across the border. So they're not just operating in the United States. They're operating outside.
They're the entities that are advertising to come into the United States. They are the ones that initially started driving these thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of people to migrate and come in. They're saying, yes, we will take care of you. We will give you everything. Come to America. You will be set. That was the Biden administration.
Side of the United States to help make it easier for those who want to break our laws.
Right.
And well, I was one of those Americans that years ago, when somebody said NGO to me, I thought, oh, that's amazing. That's a nonprofit that's out there telling somebody about Jesus or spreading faith and salvation or doing good work and charitable work, helping people that are less fortunate. And then I realized over the years it's been perverted into this shadow government. An NGO is sometimes an operation that does things that the government cannot do.
It's basically, NGOs are basically entities that are considered like unelected politicians. They're unelected people that are working to facilitate what the government can't do. But the government is letting them do that as a backdoor. It's very devious. Continue.
Can't legally do, so they create an entity to use government dollars, taxpayer dollars, to do something that the federal government isn't allowed to do, to do a shadow government operation that really has been used recently to undermine our country's national security.
If you're not outraged after hearing this stuff, we need accountability. We need sunlight shined on this. We need full sunlight on all of Washington, D.C. We need the rats to scurry. And when they scurry, we poison them, kill them, whatever. They don't deserve to be there. They need to be removed. All right, then why is no one ever arrested? Oh, we'll go back to the post here. Ilhan Omar is at the top of the suspect list. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's official. Ilhan Omar is being investigated over the report she and her husband enriched themselves through the Somali fraud. Ilhan Omar is at the top of the suspect list. There have been countless reports that her husband has profited. Deport her. All right.
There are reports that members of Congress are actually receiving daycare and healthcare clinic money funneled through various PACs. If this is true and widespread, how can the American people trust Congress to task and uncover the far-reaching tentacles of this?
To be honest with you, I don't think many people do trust the Congress anymore. Mike Johnson hasn't produced anything in the first year. Has anybody even been arrested? Let's continue. I'm devolving into a different conversation.
Any member of Congress that's getting any money unethically or illegally, there's an ethics committee, and it's a bipartisan. It's an equal number of Republicans and Democrats, and that's the committee that's supposed to investigate members of Congress. The ethics committee was created. We have in our rules that we're not supposed to investigate other members, but the ethics committee has a staff, and that is their sole purpose for existence in life. And I think the House Ethics Committee traditionally has been a lot harder on unethical behavior than the Senate Ethics Committee. That's my opinion. But anybody that has information on a member of Congress, bring that to the Ethics Committee and they'll investigate it. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. We need to hold them accountable.
What about Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's at the top of the suspect list in that, so we'll see.
Thank you.
But I can tell you, my members, there are going to be ethics complaints filed against Omar. She had an opportunity to come in here today.
Yeah, she was actually right across the hall at the Black Caucus lunch.
If there was anything about Kentucky, I would have been there, and I think that's the way it is with most members, especially the Somali. This is a hearing about Somali fraud. There have been countless reports that her husband has profited in some way, and she in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I've heard different stories about that already. How funds were funneled through him.
But she could have had an opportunity to come in here and defend herself. So hopefully you all may knock on her door and ask her some questions, and we'll see what she has to say.
Well, I hope they actually do something. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm excited. I really want it to happen, but my expectations are kind of down here. They're not up here. They're like down here. I pray. I pray for justice. Libs are clueless on the Somali scandal in Minneapolis. Oh yeah, this interviewer here. He's asking ICE protesters what they knew about the Somali fraud in Minnesota. And it went about as well as you would imagine. They do not realize they are a cult.
How do you feel about the Somali fraud in Minneapolis?
I'll be honest, I haven't researched it a lot, but from what it looks like to me is it looks like it's a made-up concept from people trying to smear Governor Walz.
I checked into that a little bit, right? There's nothing going on there. There's like this edgelord going around stirring up his mega conservative base, but none of this stuff is rooted in truth and reality. And I think if you just go out, do your own research, like actually do that, like go out and just like look at video evidence.
Nothing of this is rooted in truth or reality. Look at these people out here. Is there anything with truth and reality here?
Come to a realistic opinion about what's going on in the world. It's a scapegoat, right, for anti-Somali immigration hate.
I don't know much about the Somali fraud. Sounds like bullshit.
So there's a question as to whether it is a fraud. I don't know. I'm not following that real closely.
Well, to be fair for these people, they watch the left mainstream media, MSN, whatever the ones, CNN, whatever. They watch these shows, and those shows don't even bring it up. You're not going to see any of the Somali fraud on the mainstream media. They're not talking about it. So, of course, these people are uninformed. And they are actually victims of being uninformed and gaslit in the other direction, which is partially the reason they're there. They are victims, and they are led to believe they are right, and they're championing their cause for justice because the media worked them into a frenzy about it. And if they're not careful, if we're not careful as a country, this only escalates and more violence will happen. It's so very sad, and we need a de-escalation. We need to hold the mainstream media accountable for their mouthpiece, which is just gaslighting. It's provocateurism. It's wrong. It's wrong.
So I will reserve judgment on that.
I mean, I think that they were just using this as an excuse to go in there and scare people and show that they can be really powerful. I don't think it's authentic at all.
Yeah, and why would you? You only heard one side of the story, and that story is made up. So I gotta pray for you guys too. All you guys out there protesting, I pray that the good Lord gives you the gift of discernment so you can find the truth in things, so you can see the truth in things. Get rid of the hate. All right, I appreciate her take on this. Liberal white woman explained 100%. And this is by a woman. This isn't by me. I'm just showing what her take is.
Don't come on my page and say that people should be in this country legally. Don't do it.
No! No! Shame! Shame!
He shot her because she was queer.
Are we f***ing great yet? Are we a great country? Is this one? It's f***ing great.
A lot of people are wondering right now how in the world a person's brain.
These girls hurt my ears. It's just shrill.
Ends up like this, because this is not how healthy, happy people act. Let me explain. Liberal women are what happens when the natural female instinct to nurture and defend and care for gets misdirected away from families and children and misapplied to whatever the liberal cause of the weak is. See, women have an innate instinct to support and emotionally connect to vulnerable people.
They've lost their way. Part of it is, in my opinion, women that really wanted the independence don't want a man because they have the government to support them. All these government programs that women can go on enable them to not need a man. They don't need a husband. The government is their husband and takes care of them and allows them to go out and do stuff like this. So It's kind of crazy to think about it, but I think if you're out there protesting and they catch you and you are, no, not just protesting, but rioting and non-peaceful protesting, I think you should have your government benefits removed. This will remove your protection. This will remove the ability for you to do this on the government dime. Our dime, taxpayer dime.
We are designed to be mama bears. And in the absence of a stable and healthy home and family, a woman will find a place to put all of that. The natural instinct to sacrifice yourself for your children gets misapplied in all the wrong directions. You want to know why so many liberal women are out there playing hero for criminal aliens and gender-confused perverts and cultures that hate them?
Yeah, I want to know why. Please tell me.
It's because they believe they have identified groups of people who need them when no one else does. We destroyed the family, and we handed a generation of women a bunch of feminist lies and progressive slop in its place. And this is the natural result.
It's so sad. How do we come back from this, people? How do we come back from this? Back to normalcy that has been around for thousands of years. The family unit, the nuclear family. Since the early 70s, families have been broken up. And this is the result. Gen X was the first generation to experience this, and that's why they're so tough. They had to actually get raised by single moms, because this is the very beginning of the women's rights movement, which I empower women. Yes, you can have jobs, but you are sacrificing your family at the same time. So many of us, Gen Xers, got raised by single parents. And we had no role models. We had no father figures. We raised ourselves. We roamed society. Me, myself, I was a lost child for many years. Partied all the time. Started drinking 7th, 8th grade. Ruined my life. Alcohol gave me the escape I needed because I didn't have anything. It filled that void, much like the feminism fills their voids, what she's just talking about. But I'm escaping from that. It's taken me forever to realize it. But I'm working on it. Anyways, I digress. Let's keep moving on. Okay, it's common around the world except in lib strongholds. Oh, this is a chart, I think. Full or partially democratic countries that require ID to register. Oh, okay, yeah, voter ID. So all these countries require voter ID. And guess what? America doesn't in big cities and stuff. We don't, because it's easy to commit fraud. It's easy to commit fraud when you don't have to prove anything. Now, here's a highlight. This is you reap what you sow. Guess who's in the next video clip right here? Look who was making fun of Charlie Kirk's death. And who just got shot?
Pew, pew.
Look at that. Does that surprise you? This is karma. This is karma. They don't care. They're soulless, heartless people. Happy that somebody got assassinated. Yeah, well, I don't feel a thing for you. I don't feel a thing for you. You can go away now. All right. They found suitcases with hundreds of millions of dollars in them. Authorities at Minnesota airport busted $700 million in suitcases of taxpayer dollars by Somali couriers attempted to be transferred out of the country. This just recently, folks. Check it out.
So we're going to turn our attention back to the Somali fraud investigation. As we've discussed before, authorities have discovered suitcases containing hundreds of millions of dollars in a Minnesota airport. Now, in the meantime, Republicans are working to cut funding for Somali-led organizations with alleged ties to the massive fraud scandal. Now,
You know, they said this is a side note, kind of funny quirk. If they just found this in an airport, I wish I would find something like that. Why can't I just walk around and find money? I would turn it in, really, I would. Maybe minus a stack or two or something. I don't know. Maybe it blew out my window. I had my windows down and it blew out my window on the way to turn it in. Yeah, that's it.
as the FBI pushes forward with its own investigation, one key question arises. What does accountability even look like in this case moving forward? So joining us now to talk about all of this and more is New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Hey, great to be on with you, too. What a crazy time we're seeing here, aren't we?
Absolutely insanity. And I know oversight in the House is looking into these fraud allegations, but I wonder if it's even bigger than we have uncovered thus far.
I'm sure it's bigger. What you've uncovered, it's way bigger than that.
$700 million in cash going out of the airports there. I have a feeling we are still just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it looks really bad and obviously very alarming to see that this U.S. cash has been legally going through our airports. And of course, there is a requirement of reporting if you're going to carry more than $10,000. There's a reporting requirement, but I think a really interesting part about this is if, isn't it going to be a little suspicious when you start seeing 10,000, 100,000, millions, and now, more, as John reported earlier, more money that goes through JFK, goes through the Minneapolis airport. Something's wrong there. And I think something that's very interesting that we impose on banks is that banks are required under banking law to require and file and keep track of what they call suspicious activity reports. This is something I think we need to do now when we see the large amounts of U.S. cash, and it's always U.S. cash. I mean, you're not going to see, Chinese yen or anything else going through there. And
yeah, it's true. Us citizens, I think Trump raised it up to 1,000 now, but it was 600 with Biden. Any withdrawal you made from your bank over $600, the bank was required to report that to the government.
U.S. cash is king, and we need to certainly have this type of cash exchange reported. It's interesting because you see all this illegal immigration we've had over this time. And by the way, most of those Somalis that are in Minnesota probably came through a refugee program, and probably many of them are already legal American citizens. So suspicious activity reports, some kind of accounting for cash, I think would really be helpful. I'm looking at ways that we might be able to do this so that we could actually look at what's going on. Banks are required to do that. Individuals are not. But I'll tell you, if I'm a TSA agent or anyone else and I see this kind of cash going through, and that you're able to report the amount of cash going through, that it's happening in plain sight. We're seeing corruption in plain sight. Most of the remittances that go back often go to these foreign countries, and there's substantial portions of their economy, whether it's Guatemala and Mexico and other countries. Their own workers are sending that money back. But this is at a level that is just unprecedented, and I really think we need to look into a way to track that and to actually show.
I think so too. I don't know how you can solve this. I just don't know. Our world has gone crazy. I can't wrap my head around it.
Show that we can hold them accountable, and that type of suspicious activity leads to fraud, arrest, and what we're seeing unfold every day in Minnesota, which seems to get worse by the day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I want to ask about the two most common way illegal aliens, also legal aliens, by the way, legal residents of the United States, but move money out of the country, remittance payment centers, and of course these cash couriers like the ones that we're working out of the Minneapolis airport. Is there any thought in Congress to requiring that a remittance payment business or a cash courier ascertain and make sure that before they move money, the person that they're moving money from out of the United States is a lawful resident or citizen?
Yeah, I think that should be a requirement. And also, they should have some kind of certification that you are a person that we can trust. Our intelligence forces have already vetted that you can be carrying these huge amounts of cash back and forth to other countries. And I don't think those types of laws are in place. And I think that's a really good way to start having accountability and also tracking where this cash leaving the United States is going. And look what it would have led to had we paid attention to this.
Yeah, and this is one instance. I'm pretty sure this is going back to Somalia, but there's other fraud going on. I wonder where all this is going. We already know that, like, what Afghanistan is getting. No, Iran is getting 40 million a week from us yet. Still a week, and that's on the books.
Over the last 10 years, and what you reported earlier on $700 million. I mean, that's almost $1 billion going, I think it was 700 million going, through an airport in Minneapolis, not JFK. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing, all right. It's very, very sad and tragic. Is what it is. Let's effing go! Breaking. Law enforcement today is preparing to drop a bombshell tied to the Minnesota fraud investigation that will make the daycare fraud look like child's play. This was 5 hours ago. I posted it 12 hours ago. All right. We're talking about the case involving ActBlue and over $1 trillion in fraud. And it is most likely touches your community directly. We will be bringing the receipts. This will change everything. And all these people are tagged. Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, Tom Homan, Benny Johnson. Yeah. All these people are tagged. I just gotta pray somebody's gonna get locked up. Handcuffed, perp walked, whatever. Let's just get something done. We need some hope. We need some inspiration. We need some rule of law applied. We're tired of the counterfeit, or the fraud, and the lawless society that we have. We need to return back to the rule of law and enforce the laws we have. Okay. Oh yeah, awesome remix. I don't know if you've seen this or not. It came out yesterday or day before. I'm not sure, but this is a Chris Rock remix. He's still saying the same speech, but they added new scenes in between there. So it's like the new riots and new drug dealing and all this kind of stuff. Check it out.
Have you ever been face to face with a police officer?
This is pretty good.
And wondered, is he about to kick my ass? Well, wonder no more. If you follow these easy tips, you'll be fine. First, obey the law.
Yes, and this can be applied to today. Everything he says here could apply to today. He was years ahead of his time.
Laws were made for a reason. Think of them as hints. You heard people say, man, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you. Well, here's some of that shit. Carjacking, armed robbery, arson, selling drugs, buying drugs, stabbing, shooting. You know, you probably won't get your ass kicked if you just use common sense. If you jump a subway turnstile, you might just get off with a warning from the police. But if you jump a turnstile carrying a loaded gun and smoking a joint, then maybe you need your ass kicked. Follow this simple tip. When you see flashing police lights in your mirror, stop immediately. Here's a no-brainer. If you're listening to loud rap music, turn that shit off. Blasting "fuck the police" while you're getting pulled over by the police is just ignorant.
Yes, it is. Attitude is everything, too. When you get pulled over, attitude is everything.
When an officer approaches your car, be polite. Is there a problem, officer? And stay in your car with your hands on the wheel. What the fuck you want, motherfucker?
Right.
Want to give a friend a ride? Not so fast. Your friend might.
Now, we all have a friend like this. You get pulled over, you're talking to the officer, and your friend is over in the passenger seat.
Be crazy. Now, before you let your friend in your car, ask them these questions. Do you have a gun? Do you have drugs? Do you have any warrants? And in case you do get pulled over by the cops,
License and registration, please.
remind your friend to do this one thing. Shut the fuck up. Man, don't give him shit. What the fuck you want?
Yep. We all have friends like that. And what do you do? Yeah.
Here's a tip you should never forget. If your woman is mad at you, leave her at home. Because a mad woman will say anything. He got weed! He got weed! If your woman is mad at you, there's nothing she'd like to see more than you getting your ass kicked. Now let's review.
No filter on a mad woman.
Obey the law. Use common sense. Stop immediately. Turn that shit off. Be polite. Shut the fuck up. And last but not least, don't ride with a mad woman. If you follow these simple pointers, you probably won't get your ass kicked by the police.
Right. Good job, buddy. All right. So how can we solve this problem? We seriously need to open up mental hospitals again.
You don't be sure.
They got the Jitterbug song playing.
No! I can't! Don't touch me! Don't pull me!
Okay, get out!
Get the fuck off!
Yeah, so, oh yeah, look at, she lost her wig. Woohoo! What possesses a woman to do this? I mean, and when you check it out, it's a bus full of people. Well, it's ICE detainees, but she's yelling, "Let my people go!" That's what she's yelling right now.
Bring your dog! These are parents! These are community members! Their kids waiting outside! Their kids waiting outside!
How would you like to be living with something like that, or even be around that?
You're separating families.
It is so shrill. I just can't take it. See, they think they're right. They think they're fighting for justice. They are brainwashed. They are gaslit, and or they're getting paid and don't care.
Just be careful and get off the street, guys. Be careful, all right?
You guys getting your toes run over?
And if you notice, you hear the ICE officers calm and collected. Please get back. Please, please. You know, you hear them right there. Listen.
Watch your back, guys. Just be careful and get off the street, guys. Be careful, all right?
You guys getting your toes run over? Off the vehicle. Get back. Get back.
Arrest her. Just arrest her. Get it over with. She needs help. Gosh. Today they call master deportations unconstitutional and inhumane. But for decades, they championed the exact same policies. Hillary in 2008, if they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. Obama, if you're a criminal, you'll be deported, sent back. Bill Clinton, standing ovation for the speeding up deportation and securing our borders. It wasn't racism back then. It was just the law. But now they can't win anymore. The crazy policies, indoctrination, fraud, censorship, gaslighting, and lawfare People are just done with the crap. So the only way we can win is to flood the country with illegal immigration, block voter ID laws, and create permanently deep blue states. Yeah.
Criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No question.
I don't know about you, but she just makes me cringe whenever I hear her voice. I'm like, oh man, oh.
Asked, they're gone.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by...
It's funny, you know, it really is. The short memories, they just say whatever they need to at the time. They really don't believe in anything. They just want chaos. They want chaos. They don't believe in any standards or rule of law. They just want chaos and power. And they'll do or say anything to get into power.
Citizens or legal immigrants, the public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try...
Yeah, and they barred the funding, the welfare to illegal aliens. Why is it so important to give it to them now?
Try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must...
Oh, Slick Willie, come on. We get you back in front of the camera and say this again. You're a Democrat. Maybe they'll listen to you. Maybe you'll give them some hope to look at our point of view. Oh, gosh.
Must do more to stop it.
Yep, standing ovation. Oh, here's a good one. This just happened yesterday. This is scary. Sharia law coming to New York City? Question mark. Has anyone else heard of this? I had not heard of this. Check it out.
Like police squads.
Residents in New York say they're alarmed after seeing Muslim community patrols driving through their neighborhoods in what looked
Muslim community patrols.
like police squad cars. One America's Pearson Sharp has the details.
New Yorkers say they're shocked after seeing Muslim patrol cars roaming their neighborhoods like police squads. These Muslim community patrols just began operating in Brooklyn this year, and according to the Council on American Islamic Relations, they are the first of their kind in the United States.
This is the first of their kind in the United States. Happening in New York City. And I fear myself that this is the birth of Sharia law in New York City if it doesn't get handled.
The patrols sprang up as an apparent response to some 14 biased incidents against New York Muslims in 2017. Actually, a rather low number, considering there's over 8.6 million people living in the city. According to the group's vice president, Noor Rabah, the group currently has 30 members, but plans on rapidly expanding to cover the entire city. He describes the Muslim patrols like a neighborhood watch, but on steroids, with members dressed like police officers and driving cars identical to police squad cars.
You know, around here, that'd be called impersonating an officer. And I think that's against the law.
Residents say they're uncomfortable with the patrols, which they describe as being similar to Sharia police. Others have raised doubts about the purpose of the patrols, saying New York's police department is already very diverse, and their only job is to patrol the city streets and protect people from harassment or crime. So why does there need to be a Muslim group tasked with the same job as the police? Even other Muslims have raised questions about the need for the patrols, with residents expressing fears this is just another form of Sharia law enforcement. Similar groups can already be seen in other major European cities in Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, and Britain. These patrols have been going on for years, and a CNN report caught Muslims from a patrol in London harassing residents. In Whitechapel, one man can be heard insulting a gay man, calling him offensive names and telling him he wasn't welcome in a Muslim.
Yeah, see, they're starting to cull their herd, and if you're not Muslim, they're going to kick you out of society. And when they get enough numbers, if you're not Muslim, they're probably going to just kill you. So that's their mission. They want to take over the world. I'm not kidding. They want to take over the world.
Area. Others denounce residents for drinking, claiming this is a Muslim area and alcohol is not permitted. They also harassed a woman as she was crossing the street, warning her that her short skirt was not allowed in Muslim areas. And now, with the arrival of these Muslim patrols to New York City, Americans are becoming worried they'll fall under the same harassment for not following Islamic practices. Pearson
Right. Sharia law.
Sharp, One America News.
Sharia law in New York. All right. We'll end it. This is going to be the last one. Here's a little parody going on. We'll just see what goes on with this here.
So you marry your brother, you open up a couple of fake Somali daycares, like the Quality Luring Center. You steal millions of taxpayer dollars. Now what do? Do you sleep with your brother? How does it work? I mean, is that why all you guys look a little weird?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have many brothers, and yes, I marry them to get them visas and shit like that. And yeah, okay, there is a little inbreeding going on. We do get our freak on from time to time between brothers and sisters, but it's just how we do it in Somalia, Plus, it gets really cold in Minnesota, and sometimes all you got to keep yourself warm is your brother. So a girl got to do what a girl got to do. You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys. Let me switch back to my just chatting here. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do this every day, at least Monday through Friday. In the mornings, I'm gonna try and get some new news for you every morning. I got to work on some of the features here. For some reason, I can't get my aggregate chat from Facebook because I can't find out where to have the pop-out button for Facebook is, but I will do that. Have it ready for you tomorrow, and I will refine my style. And I did it again when I first started here for a couple minutes. I don't even know how long. I was on this scene where you cannot see my videos, and I need to switch to my other scene where you can see and hear what I was saying. So again, for the first couple minutes, I just kind of ruined this, but bear with me. It will get better. I can see if I can edit some of that out, but I hope you guys are having a good day. Hope and pray for you all to find peace with yourself. All right? Thanks. Love you all. Bye.